Hey everybody, how are you? Dr. Stephanie Stroud here with Cornerstone's Pet Tip of the Week. We are live, and today we are talking about those kitty cats again. They're sassy, they're fluffy, and we love them. Even when they can be terror sometimes, they still have their moments where they love us back, and we just live for those moments, right? Well, today I want to talk about just a few tips to help reduce stress when you bring those sassy creatures to see us at the veterinary office. So, cats can be very familiar with their surroundings, and they get very comfortable with that. They roam in the house, they roam if you keep them outdoors in a particular area, and they're just very comfortable with that. So when all of a sudden, once or twice a year, you grab your cat, you put them in a carrier, and all of a sudden they're in a car, which they're not used to, and then they're in a strange new place with strange new smells and other animal smells that they can't see, with noises they can't hear, it can kind of freak them out. Which, if you think about that in your own life, if that happened to you, that might freak you out a bit too. So it's kind of understandable, but I'm going to give you some tips to kind of help reduce stress, and these are things you can do at home, and it's best to start them from a very young age if you can. If you can't, you start where you're at and you go from there. So number one, the best and safest way to transport a cat to the veterinary hospital is in a carrier. And so one of the things you can do is practice putting your pets in the carrier before you bring them. And I found that the best way to do this is actually just leave your carrier out all the time with it open, so that your cat gets used to going in and out of it, and it's not this thing that comes out when they're going to the doctor or they're going on a trip or something out of the norm. It's something that's out all the time. It's in their environment. They're exploring it. They look at it. They get in and out of it. And it's just a part of their normal environment. And so that way, when you actually do have to put them in there, they go in there, you close the door, and you bring them, and they have something familiar, okay? So that is the first tip, is leave your carrier out, let them go in and out of it so that they're used to it. It's not something strange to them off the bat. Number two, take your cat on car rides, even if they're not coming to the vet. And so sometimes, especially when they're young and they're getting used to everything, again, letting them get in and out of the carrier, putting the carrier in the car, and getting them used to the car can make a huge difference. Car rides can be stressful for cats because it's something out of the normal again. And so anything you can do to just even take them, go for a 10-minute joyride, or a 15-minute ride just looking at, especially fall's coming up, at the trees. The cats don't normally actually have to look at that stuff, but that stuff you can do, and you can bring your cat along so that they get used to car rides, okay? Number three, if it's the first time going to the vet, one of the things you can do is bring someone that the cat is familiar with and really likes along with you. That way, while you're driving, that person can be in the car with them. They can be talking to the cat can be talking to them. Maybe they can be playing a little bit with some toys that they have with them. And that's one way to kind of distract them. And again, you can do that with the car rides too. When you're first training them to go in the car rides, bring someone that knows the cats. So that they are familiar and they just feel better having something familiar around them, so it's not completely strange, okay? Number four, you play with your cats at home. They have those fluffy feather things, they have the laser pointer, they have mice and little balls and everything that they play with. Bring some of their favorite treats, or bring some of their favorite toys with them. Maybe your cat likes to sleep on this one particular blanket that sits on the couch. Put that blanket in the carrier. Again, this is where sometimes keeping that carrier out all the time for your cats to go in and out, part of the normal environment. You can teach your cat that we play with this certain toy in this carrier. And so again, they're having things that are familiar for them, and they just are comforted, and it doesn't get that stress level so very high for them. Okay, and so bringing things that they enjoy, they're their favorite treat, maybe a packet of tuna, they really like tuna, something that the vet can feed them a little bit of if they have time, or one of the technicians or nurses, something to help the cat feel comfortable. Not every appointment will that happen, but anything you can have on hand that your pet really likes or your cat really likes is going to help reduce stress while they're at the veterinary office, okay? Number five, you want to comfort your cat, but you also want to give them their space. And so once you get to the veterinary office, sometimes, at least as women who have very mother tendencies, and men can have it too, once we get them whacked and see, sometimes our pet's stressed, and so then we end up overcrowding them and trying to distract them, make them feel better, when oftentimes the pets know our behavior as well. And so if we're acting out of the norm, they know something's going on, and that can stress them out. So you definitely want to comfort your pets, but you also need to kind of give them their space too, so that they feel like this is just a normal thing that happens, okay? And last tip, which is really, really important, is you have to know your own stress level, which is one of the reasons I'm talking about this, is because oftentimes we get stressed about taking our animals to the vet, especially cats, because they so easily stress, and then the cats feel the stress off of us as owners, and then we get more stress, and it becomes this really vicious cycle. And so knowing your own stress level and keeping that in check will help reduce the stress in your cat. Sometimes that may even mean, you bring your pet to the vet, we go into the exam room, but maybe you get really stressed out with needles or with things that have to be injected into the pet. So maybe you step out of the room for those few seconds so the cat isn't feeling your stress and gets more stress. You don't want to feed off of each other. We want you guys to be comfortable as owners in the room, and we also want the pets to be comfortable. We want them to know that it's a safe place and it's not somewhere where that harm happens or anything like that. And so those are just some good tips to help reduce stress. Those are things you can start practice and implementing now. If you have a favorite thing that you do to help reduce stress in your cat, definitely comment below, and definitely I want to see all those selfies. I know you guys take them of your cats. I know you have pictures on your iPhones or on your smartphones. I want to see some of those pictures in the comments below when I check back tomorrow. So I want to see all those cute fur babies. So thanks for watching, guys. Those are the tips for today, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.